This is the HPC, or Hi-Power Cycle Freedom, and it's sort of their entry-level offering. It only costs $19.95, and it's using a pretty powerful drive system. So they've got the HPC stickers on there, but this is actually the 8-Fun BBS02. It's a 750 watt mid-drive, and they've actually, I think theirs is a little bit tweaked. It's a 26 amp, 750 watts to the rear wheel, and they've really fine-tuned this. Most of their other bikes have like 2,000 watt Crystalite hub motors and stuff. So I think for them it's like, yeah, it's 750 watts, but they do spec it that way to try to be legal in the United States as like a low-speed electric bike, so that you could ride this with its sort of default settings at 20 mile per hour top speed, 750 watt motor. You could ride it legally just as a bicycle. However, I think they also leave it unlocked, or they can kind of work with you if you want to use this for a little more private, off-road kind of stuff. It's not really an off-road bike. I mean, it's kind of more of a hybrid style bicycle. You got the seat post suspension shock, which is nice, actually. Glide, postmodern. You've got this basic Suntour suspension fork in the front, just springs. No rebound, no lockout, none of that. Even the brakes, it's just sort of rim brakes. But you've got a really powerful drive system. And in addition to the BBS02 motor being, a little bit, the controller being a higher amp, the battery is also really premium here. This basic casing that I've seen on a lot of different bikes, or the kit if you want to do that, they put Panasonic cells in it, and this thing offers 37 volts, 11.6 amp hours. So it's really just packed full of energy, and of course it's removable. So you can take that off the frame and transport this bike a lot easier. Being a mid-drive, you've got quick release front and rear on the wheels. This frame is custom, sort of chosen by the team at HPC. It's a KHS frame along with the saddle right here, and it comes in 3 different sizes, so 17, 19, or 21 inch. You can really, dial this bike in. I'm pretty impressed, and at just under $2,000, it's you're getting a lot of value there. However, the wires aren't run through the frame. This isn't really purpose-built the way an easy motion electric bike or some of these others would be, but you're getting that potential to go faster. I think 26 miles per hour if you dial things up with that display panel. So let me talk a little bit more about the bike specs. Just got these basic plastic pedals, kind of standard cranks. The quick release is nice. I think they're all black, but they tend to do custom colors if you want. They can do basically custom anything. These guys are kind of like wizards with their shop. Got these little riser bars in the front. One thing I noticed about the brake lever here is that the left brake lever actually has a motor inhibitor, which is useful when you're using pedal assist because it's not super immediate with the 8-Fun Bafang system. The right brake lever does not have motor cutoff, so just keep that in mind. Squeeze both brakes, or the left one, make sure if you want to cut the motor power. But it's nice that they have that at all. I was looking at the BM e-bikes the other day, and some of their bikes don't have the motor inhibitor, and you have to wait for the motor to kind of stop, or you fight it when you pull the brake lever. So I like to see that. Over here, we've actually got the 7-speed trigger shifter integrated into the brake lever. So it's, pretty clean cockpit up here, aside from, the extra wires and stuff. And that's just what you get when you're doing a conversion like they've done here. So the Suntour fork has a hole for adding a fender. They've got nice braze-ons in the back for adding a rear rack if you want to portage things around, and that's really cool. There's a hole there as well, so you can add a fender. So you can really trick this thing out. The only thing it doesn't have, like most electric bikes unfortunately, is there's no water bottle mounting point. So try to figure out a basket or the rack or a backpack and bring some water that way. Something I'm always thinking about because it's so hot when I'm outside filming. I'm at their headquarters in Chapman, California, so it's near LA, and it gets hot here. So back to the drivetrain. Shimano Altus right there, decent. They've got this mega range, oversized sprocket in the back. Just a basic plastic, kind of a, pant protector almost. And the battery, fits there nicely, keeps the weight centered. As I mentioned before, it's just, kind of what you'd expect. Pretty good setup all around. The display panel's nice. It's not removable. I think if you don't over tighten it, you can kind of swivel it forward and backwards to reduce glare, because this is a fairly flat and shiny surface. And then over here we've got trigger throttle and the buttons to interact with the display, as well as just this big, kind of a thumb trigger shifter setup and these sort of semi-ergonomic rubber grips, no lockers or anything. So again, a lot of the components and stuff on this are very entry level, but that keeps it more affordable. What you're really getting is one of the higher powered BBS02 kits pre-installed on a bicycle frame of your choice with some support from a bigger company, you know, with some warranty support, that kind of thing. So that's great. I did weigh the bike earlier. It weighs just about 45 pounds, which is awesome. I mean, that's in my opinion, that's a pretty good weight right there. And the fact that the frame's black and all the stuff is black, it all blends in nicely too. One of the complaints I have about the battery pack, and this is on all of them that are designed this way, you kind of have to turn it on first, so you have to activate the battery pack. Then you can come up here, press the power button on this little rubber independent button pad, and then it comes to life. So we got the monochrome, backlit, Bafang display panel. Starts out in 0 assist, and throttle mode does not work in 0. It's just basically a cycle computer at this point. From here, you know, you can read your speed. It's set to kilometers per hour right now. You can see your distance, your range, and there's like a little clock timer thing. So, you know, standard. As soon as you start arrowing up, you know, I think right now it's set to like 9. Oh no, it looks like 5 levels of assist. You can break this up into different setups. So you could have 3 levels of assist, 5 levels of assist, or 9 levels of assist. And it's not like you're actually getting higher power, they're just the increments are smaller, and so you get more control over how much power the motor's putting out, and you can get more range that way, I suppose, or it's just sort of like a more fluid interface. And this also has kind of high. So at any time you can use the trigger throttle, and it's going to give you as much power as the level of assist that you're in. So the higher level of assist, the more power you're going to get, and it just sort of overrides. And that's, you know, it works all right, but it's one of those situations where you could be using the trigger throttle, feeling pretty good, and then pedal, and realize like, oh, I'm in pedal assist, you know, and kind of forget those two things. Worth keeping in mind. It'd be nice if Bafang would make it a throttle-only mode too, because sometimes it's nice to just do that way. You know, should get pretty decent range and be a decent climber with the cassette back here. However, the ring, the sprocket that they've got on is standard, and that's the one that the Bafang system comes with, and it's a little bit larger. I think HPC can customize that a little bit and give you a smaller sprocket if you want to do more climbing and get more power. For some of the lower power kits, like the BBS01, I've heard that people have had some trouble with like overheating on the standard size sprocket, but with the BBS02 you got a lot more power. So even a rider who's a little bit larger, or even on climbs and stuff, this should do pretty well. So, you know, I'm a fan. It's a pretty good setup here, and it definitely is like a higher powered setup than a lot of other $2,000 electric bikes. So I'm gonna just hop on here, take it down to level 5. Whoop, yeah, I mean, as soon as I start pedaling, really smooth and quiet, it just kicks in. And pretty responsive too. I mean, I'm impressed how quickly it cuts out. And then, you know, as I shift gears over here, the motor's gonna benefit from whatever gear I'm in, just like I do as a rider. So I'm gonna do that. There we go. Go up to a higher gear. Whoa, a little bit jerkier because there is no like shift detection. This isn't a Bosch system or an Impulse 2.0 system. It's just sort of the motor going or stopping based on the throttle or the assist sensor. So keep that in mind. You know, you can mash the gears and wear out the chain a little bit faster with a setup like this, and it sort of depends on how you ride it. There we go. Look at that. No pedaling. And he's like passing us up this super big hill. That's awesome. Look at that. Sweet, man. Nice job. Okay. You can definitely feel the power, you know, of the BBS02 system and that higher sort of 750 watt to the rear wheel that they've maximized it, this setup for. I'm definitely impressed. So that's the HPC Freedom. For the full write-up on this, including specs and pics and stuff, I'll see you back at ElectricRideReview.com.